Hi everybody, in this lecture we introduce operators in processing and we'll talk about how simple arithmetic is done. So by definition, a program P is a collection of tokens composed of two basic elements, operands and operators. Operands are variables, constants. So constants are specifically referred to as finals in Java or in processing, and addresses, which are the same idea as variables, but we won't really go into them in this course. And operators, which are defined operations in a programming language. Examples of each, so for example, if you have variables or operands, and different operations such as the plus, minus, if, else, functions like goto that we won't really cover, but they exist in all languages almost. They are referred to as operators. So processing like Java and C++, it has many operators. Generally, operators are divided into two categories of unary and binary. So unary are operators such as plus or the minus sign. So they only need one operand to function on, such as if you say minus 5. And binary operands, they need two operands. So for example, when we say A equals A plus B, this is a binary operator because it has two operands. Basically, operators can be categorized into arithmetic operators, which we're going to talk about in this lecture, increment and decrement operators, as you remember from the last lecture, the plus plus and the minus minus. So we've already done this. Logical operators, we won't do them today. So future. And bitwise operators that we won't do in this course at all. So let's go over some of these operators. And in fact, this is going to be a pretty simple lecture about the arithmetic part of it. However, before we get to that, we have to talk about precedence. Basically, programming, how it works is, if you have int a equals 5, so let's define a few variables in the same line. Int a 5, b 3, and c 2. If I say int d equals a plus b, this is quite simple, right? So let's go ahead with the memory diagram. You're going to have a as 5, b as 3, and c as 2. So when I have d is going to be the result of this operation. So a plus b, a is 5, b is 3, so d is going to be 8 in memory. What if I went like this though? What if I said a equal d equal a plus b times c? What happens then? Well, it's pretty much if you did math, this is really elementary school math. Math is done from left to right. However, there is operator precedence. So the multiplication operator would take precedence over the plus operator. Before we solve this, let's have a look at the next slide. So operators are executed based on predefined precedence. And I'll show you the precedence table. Higher means that they are going to be, high precedence means that they're going to be executed earlier. Operators have the same precedence as the other operators in their group, in the table that I'll show you, and higher precedence that the operators in the lower groups. And if you're not sure what the precedence is, and you don't want to look it up, you could always just use parentheses. So let's have a look at the table quickly. So a lot of these we haven't done, but it's a comprehensive table. So first of all, the postfix, plus plus and minus minus have the precedence. Then the pre-increment, they have the precedence afterwards. So this is the highest precedence, and you can kind of see the parentheses go on the very top. So let's go to the next slide. Level 3, you have multiplication, you have division, and we have modulus that I haven't talked about, but I will in a little bit. We have addition and subtraction. So you see that the precedence of the multiplication is higher than the precedence of addition. Therefore, multiplication will happen before we do addition. And then the rest of these we haven't really talked about, but we will in the next weeks. So this is a very important table to for you guys to have a look at. So I'm just going to go back to my example really quickly. So here, what happens is, in here, B times C will be performed first. So you could write this way. You could write it to say A plus B times C. So these two are equivalent. So here, B times C is 3 times 2, so this is 6. And then this is going to be plus A, which is 5. So the new value of D is now 11. So let me just erase it. The new value is 11. All right, going back to arithmetic operators. Pretty much what we just said. So arithmetic operators are plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulus that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So let's see an example here. If you have 2 plus 4 times 3 minus 4 divided by 2, this could be written as follows. 4 times 3 and 4 divided by 2. And these two expressions are, so we're subtracting the second from the first, and then plus 2 at the end, and we get 12. And that's basically how this is done.